Live from the Export Beer Garden Studios, this is the agenda for the 26th of March.
The Agenda, an alternative commentary collective podcast.
G'day there, welcome along to the Agenda podcast. Myself, G Lane, and Matt Heath.
So good to be here.
Resplendent in your Blues top.
I love these Blues baseball, like these Super Rugby baseball.
Yeah.
Where are they from?
It's good. I mean, that's official merch.
Official merch?
It's official merch as the baseball. I mean, every game we're giving one away.
Wow, they're very cool.
Yeah, so
you got a Highlanders one in there?
Yeah.
Have you got a hybrid Highlanders
Blues
one?
A Blue Landers? What we can do is cut
it in half.
Cut it in half, yeah.
Sew it up the back.
So it says blue and there's Anders.
Yeah.
So you'll actually legitimately be a Blue Ander.
Yeah, because there's a lot of us Blue Landers out there.
Blue Landers, yeah.
Is there any? There's no cruise.
No.
There's no cruise, and there's no choose.
Certainly not.
And there's no who's.
There's no high canes.
No, there's no high canes.
No.
There's only Blue Landers.
Yeah.
It's the only two teams that have crossover fans.
It's the only hybrid.
Yeah, the only hybrid
allowed
in the business. Yeah.
I see that Dolphin Gate continues to.
Yeah.
Shows how little goes on in this country. That it's a double page spread in the Herald today as Dolphin Gate continues because Dr. Russell Norman is weighed in on it from Greenpeace.
Oh, God. Why don't we talk to all the people that have the most likely to have the craziest opinions?
Yeah.
This is the way news works. You find two people with the craziest opinions and ask them and call them an expert rather than just talking to people that have a normal, nuanced opinion.
and the people who are at the far end goes, I think most New Zealanders would agree with me.
Yeah, they always say that.
I don't think so. You're crazy that end. You're crazy that end.
They'll always find some insane expert from the arse end of Otago University that no one's talked to in the tea room for about 20 years, and they can't believe they've still got a job. They get a call. It comes through on a landline.
Yeah.
And they go, do we have anyone that's interested in dolphins in this place? And they goes, there's crazy old guy that with the holes in his suit that was charged with getting his willy out in front of a primary school. Yeah, he's still in a back office in a cupboard.
Yeah, that's so
Let's ask
true.
him what he says, and he goes, I think it's absolutely terrible. That it's like basically driving a Formula One car through a Kiwi Sanctuary. So everyone goes, not anything like that at all. I mean, if that Kiwi Sanctuary also had container ships and cruise ships cruising through there as well, it might be slightly similar.
I mean, look, thinking about a Formula One car v a Kiwi.
Yeah.
I mean, that's no chance, really, isn't it? Kiwis are fat, dumb, and slow. And
Kiwi.
Formula One's it's coming at you 300 kilometres an hour. I mean, you could say that about anything.
Be freaking exciting, though.
Drive a Formula One car on the footpath.
Yeah.
You're most likely going to kill a lot of humans.
Yeah.
It's a pretty dumb comparison. Speaking of Formula One, Liam Lawson, the Kiwi, 22, he's rumoured there's a bit of heat on Daniel Ricciardo, the Aussie driver. The vultures are circling Ricciardo. He's got no points this season so far. And the greatest head of Red Bull driver development, it's got the greatest name, Dr. Helmut Marko. Is that so good?
Dr. Helmut.
Dr. Helmut is the head of Red Bull driver development. Anyway, Helmut.
I wish my nickname was Dr. Helmut.
Yeah, who do I know would be a Dr. Helmut?
Yeah.
Someone who's obviously circumcised has just got a ginormous helmet.
Yeah, I think to be Dr. Helmut, you got not much shaft, big helmet,
I almost got seriously assaulted on the West Coast at the Hokitika Food and Wine Festival one year. And I was at university in Canterbury, and we used to go on a big convoy over there, and I was fucking twisted.
Yeah.
And I remember that some of the festivals, I think they still got them. The toilet is like a giant TARDIS, and there's about 10 urinals inside the TARDIS.
Yeah.
So, guys can come in and out, but, it's a big, giant portaloo, but men are urinating next to each other. And this massive dude came in next to me, this big West Coaster, and just flopped out what potentially was the biggest helmet I've ever seen. And I just looked him up and down, and I went, excuse me, sir.
How polite.
And you have the most impressive helmet I've ever seen on a man. And he went, just looked me up and down and went, what? And I went, nothing. He was Dr. Helmet.
You're not supposed to look at the
I couldn't help it. It doesn't matter. If it's in your peripheral, well, you can't ignore it. And I was that far gone that I had very little kind of guard up around commenting. I had no inner monologue or nothing. I should have, my mind, I should have said, "That's a massive helmet."
So for I don't know, for some reason when you were telling me the story, I imagined the start of Star Wars: A New Hope, where that Star Destroyer comes over the top of the camera, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. In your peripheral, there's this helmet slowly moving into place.
It was so big. I reckon it was like, I don't know, like that size, like a hockey puck size. That was the bottom of the helmet. It was huge. Dr. Helmet. Anyway, so apparently Ricciardo, this is the rumour, he's been given the next 2 Grand Prix, which are Japan and China, to improve.
Or he's out.
Or he's gone. And Liam Lawson will take the seat potentially for Miami.
How come we produce so many great drivers in New Zealand?
I don't know, because
have we got just great go-kart centres or what?
I don't know, because in general we're terrible drivers.
Oh, terrible on the road.
Terrible on the road.
Yeah, horrific.
But we've got Scott Dixon, we've got Scott McLaughlin.
Only about 3% of the population can parallel park, and yet we've got some of the best drivers in the world. Mind you, the Giz can't parallel park.
Yeah, but we've got good racers. Yeah, that's right, actually, because we've got hardly any money.
We're actually really good forwards, I think. We're not great backwards.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So, but he's not a Formula One for parking, but that'd be
that's right. Yeah, we would never get there. Or reversing trailers would be terrible.
Would be hopeless. But he features quite a bit in one episode of Drive to Survive, Liam Lawson. I think it's episode 9 of the 6th series, and it talks about Daniel Ricciardo's injuries and everything. It's quite good actually, because he gets AlphaTauri, Red Bull's support team, the first points of the season. He beats Yuki Tsunoda, who's the Japanese driver, and does everything possible to get a seat, and then he doesn't, and he gets quite pissed off. He's like, what do I have to do? Like, I'm faster than Yuki. I beat Daniel Ricciardo, yet I don't get a seat. So it's quite an interesting wee watch. But I hear the rumour is Daniel Ricciardo is huge in the States. They love him.
Right.
From the first series of Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
They love him. And have you seen him put on like Texan accents?
Yeah.
He plays up for the cameras in the States. So he's like the Formula One's biggest star in the US. And then you got Yuki Tsunoda, who's Japanese, and he's got links to Honda, who provide the engines. So these 2 guys provide them so much money that
that's always the case with New Zealanders.
Yeah. And Lawson's in the background going, hey, really politely, hey, hey.
That's the case. We just don't bring. We might bring a lot of talent. We never bring a lot of money. New Zealanders. We never bring a lot of money. It's the same with our boxers. They're like, well, the home market's not great for this guy. I know he's great. But
what can he bring to the table, do you reckon?
Yeah.
So Liam Lawson's sitting there. He's around the table. He's got Yuki Tsunoda, Japan, all of Honda behind him. You've got Daniel Ricciardo. He's got all of America behind him. Liam Lawson's at the table. What does he slap on the table?
A dolphin. Slaps on slap a Hector's dolphin on the table.
A Maui would be a bigger play, because they're even rarer.
You guess, you know how much trouble I've gotten home for killing this Maui dolphin and bringing it over here?
And now that people are making me drive my F1 car through a Kiwi sanctuary just to prove a point, okay? That's what I'm bringing to the table.
I'm offering you an F1 in New Zealand, full noise through a Kiwi sanctuary. That's what I'm offering you. It'll be on the front page of every newspaper in New Zealand. Big publicity on the back of this.
You can kill as many as you want.
Just plough through them.
There's going to be no bird protection program. You can just mow them down. And the best thing is, they're fat and they can't fly.
Yeah, so you're going to get so many. They're just going to be piling up. We'll do it at night.
Yeah, they're only out at night. So it's a night race.
It's a nocturnal race. Lights on through a Kiwi sanctuary.
But apparently, old Dr. Helmet, Dr. Helmet Marko, the head of Red Bull Driver Development, he's a big fan of Liam Lawson.
Yep.
And the rumour is they're lining him up to be a permanent partner for Max Verstappen from 24 onwards, because Verstappen's current partner in the Red Bull racing team is Sergio Perez, and his contract's up at the end of this year.
Right,
and
Kiwi.
So Kiwi
in a seat.
Kiwi in a seat, and the best seat in the house.
Yeah.
Max Verstappen is, he didn't win the last race, but what a great team to be.
For some reason, last night I watched an entire documentary on the company Red Bull and how it got so successful, and how it's investing in sports teams now, and how brilliant it is that it just calls them Red Bull, and how much it costs to make a can of Red Bull.
How much?
8 cents.
That's quite a lot.
Oh, do you reckon?
I was thinking around the 2 or 3 cents.
Right.
But I mean,
they sell them for quite a bit.
They sell them for $5, though, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's quite good margins.
Yeah, but they are brilliant marketers, aren't they?
Yeah. Shit, yeah.
Shit, yeah. Well, apparently, I mean, this is going off piece, but one of the reasons why they were so successful when they first launched in Austria was because they were illegal in Germany. So it's always had a reputation at the start of being kind of illegal and a bit dodgy. It's a bit like Prime, isn't it?
Yeah.
Everyone got excited because they couldn't get it.
Yeah.
But they sold bloody 7.5 billion cans of Red Bull in 2019. They sold
7.5 billion?
Yeah, cans. So that's why they can have a racing team.
Who's drinking that shit? And a Sail GP team.
Yeah.
And a crazy
and
fuckers with
five football teams.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Because people are just getting the worst hangovers of all time.
On Red Bull vodkas.
Red Bull vodkas, the most anxious hangover you'll ever have. If you've had 7 Red Bull vodkas, you wake up just going, the world's ending. It's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. Right, I got another story here. You'll love this, Matt Heath. From the story of sports hedging. Obviously, you accuse me of hedging Black Caps cricket fans, don't you?
Yeah.
With the Black Caps supporters support T-shirt.
Yeah, you short the fans. Either way, Black Caps win, you win.
Yeah.
And you sell a bunch of
the ship hats.
And, Black Caps lose, you sell a lot of Black Cap supporter support groups T-shirts.
Well, this guy here, he's known in the US as the greatest sports gambler in US history. His name is Jim Mack.and. He's a 73-year-old Texan. He's known as Mattress Mack. Now, he's taken home roughly $100 million US in winnings over the last few years. But this is how he does it. Like, his biggest one has been picking the Houston Astros to win the World Series in 22 and Kansas to win the NCAA tournament in the same year. So what he does is he started off selling furniture on the side of the road, just out of a tent. And then that was 40 years ago. Now he owns Gallery Furniture, which has 400 employees, massive stores throughout Houston. So he's like the biggest furniture seller in Houston. So what he does is as a promotion, so he'll go and place a $10 million bet on Houston or whatever that would return $70 million. And then he would run a promotion to sell mattresses. And if you buy the mattress, if the bet comes in, he'll refund you double what you paid for the mattress. So basically, if the bet doesn't come off, doesn't matter, he sold all these mattresses and it usually pays for itself and the marketing costs. And if it comes in, they kind of break even and he sells his mattress, he gives people double the amount they paid for the mattress.
But it's not his money anyway, so he's already sold the mattresses.
Correct. And it's just a huge marketing campaign.
That's freaking brilliant.
Yeah, so it's a massive hedge. So he breaks even on the mattress. Customers refunds if their bet hits because sales refunds minus bet winnings equals promotional cost. And if the bet doesn't hit, then it's a marketing cost to increase sales and drive profit because the sales minus the wager placed equals profit. So
wow,
it's so good.
Now, I wonder when that came to him in the middle of the night. He sat up in bed and said, "I've just did the best freaking plan."
Yeah, his marketing team were like, Hey, can we do it? We've got this idea. Bill Biden, and he goes, fuck off. I'm going to bet on the fucking Houston Rockets to win. And if they come off, I'm going to give everyone cash who buys a mattress.
And it's feel good as well because it's hedging, not just hedging in terms of money, but it's also hedging in terms of how people feel about, like, so if you really support your team, you're like, bet comes off, happy. Team, if the team wins, no, it doesn't. If the team loses, then you double lose, don't you? If the team wins, you get double the price of your mattress. Yeah. If the team loses, then you just get your mattress for the normal price.
Yeah, the normal price, And they take a bit of a hit, but it's down to marketing because he's probably sold more mattresses than the bet's worth. And sometimes he shuts it off if it gets too far out, the promotion. So, and it's usually based around the kind of Texas state.
Yeah.
But how good's that?
That's brilliant.
We should start doing that for the ACC.
Mattress Mack.
But Mattress Mack, obviously, he's started off with smaller bets and now he's placing like $10 million bets. So
should we try and do that with some Steady the Ship hats or something? I don't know what it...
Yeah.
Let's try small, because how much does a Steady the Ship hat retail for?
I think it's $15 or
So $20. We'll promise to if the bet doesn't come off, we'll double it.
Yeah.
We'll give you $30 back.
Yeah.
And if it does come off... we'll just do it. Let's do this, but on a low level. Like, we'll do it so we don't completely bankrupt the ACC in the first... I mean, we're not going to go for $70 million, but like a reasonable size bet, like a $10,000 bet or something.
Yeah. I'm in.
Yeah.
Because I think we kind of do that in a smaller level with our game day good punts.
Yeah.
Because if they come off, then we basically if it gets to $1,000, which it is at the moment, we're going to give it away this week. We put it on social media, you comment, you can win one of $100 worth of...
Yeah.
No, you actually $100 cash. But this is much better
Yeah.
This is much better because you're placing a big wager.
Yeah.
And everyone's in on it. Everyone who's bought a hat in the last 2 weeks is in to win.
Yeah, we'd have to do a bit of hype because if we didn't shift the hats, we'd be in trouble.
That's when you got to put it down to marketing costs. You see.
Yeah,
That's what Mattress Mack does.
Right.
If he doesn't quite hit it, he goes, well, everyone's talking about it.
Yeah.
Because media always pick up on it. He's like, the Mattress Mack, what have you placed a bet on? I placed 20 mil on the Houston.
Mattress Mack.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Smart guy.
Yeah.
Smart guy.
The media would never get onto it here because they hate us.
That's true. And they hate gambling and sports.
Yeah, and they hate sport.
Yeah, anyway.
And
hey,
men.
We'll take a quick break and we'll be back in just a moment. Rightio, in some global news. We're on a Tuesday, Matt, so there's not a lot of sports news goes on around the world, but big news out of Germany. The German football team has got rid of Adidas and are now going with Nike. In one of the biggest sponsorship moves ever. They have been with Adidas. Adidas is a German, wholesome German brand.
Yeah, and it is quite like for one team that is very, it's so within them, the Adidas.
Yeah.
It was like when James Bond nipped away from the Shaken Not Stirred, and in that movie, I think was it in Casino Royale where he ordered a Heineken,
Oh, yes.
and it was like, what? Yeah, that's huge because just those Adidas stripes are so German football.
Yeah, and they've gone with Nike, so they've gone with an American company.
Wow, that's far out. I bet this is what German sports talkback sounds like right now.
It's the bunker. It's the bunker scene.
It's the bunker
It's the bunker scene. The guy in the bunker is the CEO of Adidas.
Yeah.
And all of the people lined up are all of the sponsorship managers and partnership managers. There's a woman crying in the
behind the doors outside. Yeah.
But apparently they paid more than double what Adidas, the Nike did, came in, swooped in.
I wonder if you're Adidas, though, you'd think, well, you got Nike here, but also the change is a big promotion for us as well.
Yeah.
You know, because in Germany particularly, they'll be like, Adidas, I don't know, you know, it's a big call.
Yeah, I don't know if they
You can't get stale, can it? You after 70 plus years. I mean, 70 years ago, weren't they at war? I mean, Hitler was probably around 70 years ago, nearly, not quite, but that's a long sponsorship.
And what do you reckon about like the one exec? So they're in the bunker. CEO of Adidas is going full Hitler NATO on them, and then one guy puts his hand up in the corner and he's like, "What? We've still got the All Blacks."
You felt so long. No, none, nothing, nine.
Yeah. Anyway, so look, they've still got the All Blacks. They have still got the All Blacks.
Do you know what Adidas stands for? All day I dream about sex. That's what we used to say at primary school. If anyone wore Adidas to school, you'd be like, all day I dream about sex.
Love it. Hey, in primary school, it's the complete. No one's dreaming about sex. No one knows actually.
And
what
it's not really an insult. All day I dream about sex either.
It's just someone's made that up.
Yeah.
Anyway, and also in other news, the UFC. I don't know if you heard much about this. There's a lot of former UFC fighters who have, most of them have probably quite brain damaged, allegedly. I've come back and said, you didn't pay us enough for how much you made while we got our brains kicked in. So they've come to an agreement with 1,200 of former fighters, agreeing to pay them $335 million US in compensation. And apparently UFC are pretty happy about this because they can spread that payment over several years. And it counts for less than 25% of the UFC's projected 24 revenue. And it can be tax deductible. But the biggest win for MMA is that they didn't need to take any concessions ongoing in the future for any fighters who've got current contracts with them or sign new contracts with them. So UFC pay their athletes the least out of all of NBA, NHL, NFL, NBL. 15% of their revenue goes to the fighters.
Wow.
Compared to the NBA, 50%.
And you compare the toll that it takes on the fight. I mean, because you've got sports right now, like we've got the concussion mouth guards in Super Rugby. UFC, you're trying. It's not a byproduct of the game that you might get knocked out. it is what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
There are people trying to knock you unconscious in the octagon, and yet we're it's like, wow.
Yeah, because
And when I always think that when we have these concussion protocols and stuff, I'm always like, but UFC exists.
Yeah, I know. It's like the CTE. It's like, well, we operate on his brain, and he's the first, athlete in New Zealand to be confirmed with CTE. It's like, it's no surprise, because are they cutting any boxers or UFC brains open? Because I'm pretty sure they are fucking mush.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Because they're getting their heads kicked in week out.
Yeah.
Like you're saying, it's not a concussion. It's in getting knocked the fuck out.
Yeah. It's like they say, it's not a bug, it's a feature of the UFC getting punched in the head.
Do you think there is like a CTE protocol or like a concussion protocol team out the back? Are they locked in the cupboard out the back? No.
Well, when they do take you out of the octagon, if you are knocked unconscious, that's the protocol. It's afterwards.
Yeah.
There is. So actually, in UFC, is there a standing knockout?
No,
it's not, is there?
No, you tap out.
Yeah, the tap out.
You tap out, or you're knocked out.
Yeah.
Or I think the team can throw the towel in, literally biff a towel in and say that's enough. He's pretty much unconscious.
That's brutal.
Yeah, but it's only 15%. So that's, and like I said, NFL, NBA, NHL, MLB all have 50-50 with the players. So that is.
So it's like only about 300,000 each, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not a lot.
Not a lot.
It's not a lot.
Even their payouts are cheap.
So the payout's cheap, and they can do it over multiple years.
But this is one of the reasons why the UFC is so popular is because the fights aren't like boxing's in trouble. Although no, there's actually boxing sorting its stuff out now by actually paying the athletes out of huge amount of Saudi money.
Yeah.
But because they're not paying so much there, and they're actually organising the fights, and you have to fight. I mean, that's the main thing with the UFC is like fighters fight.
Yeah.
Because boxers try everything they can not to fight usually.
And also, there's so many belts going around.
Yeah.
Who knows? Like,
yeah.
And there's like, well, this is a belt unifying. I was like, well, there's about 7 belts swinging around. Who's the heavyweight champion?
Yeah.
Who is the heavyweight champion? I don't even know.
No.
Is it?
It's hard to say. But the thing is, yeah. The problem is, and this is always going to be the case for athletes, is like if you're some, Eastern European battler from a shit situation.
Yeah.
And someone says, do you want some money, but you will probably end up with brain damage, and you're in the early 20s, right through the 20s, when you don't give a fuck about anything, you'll be like, yeah, fucking sounds sweet, let's go for it. It's not until you're like 47 where you go, Jesus fucking Christ.
You can't eat your wheat bits.
Yeah, you can't eat your wheat bits. You're like, maybe if I could do things a little bit different, but there's no way you can convince anyone not to do that when they're in their 20s.
Yeah. Okay, we'll take another quick break and we'll be back to mop up the rest of the sports stories of the day. Big news coming out of Super Rugby, Matt Heath.
Yeah, Mark Robertson, the head of rugby in New Zealand, said that viewership is up 25% this year from Super Rugby last year. So is it that the officiators are being a bit looser and letting the game play?
Yes.
Or is all it took was for the Crusaders to be losing for people to find interest in Super Rugby? I mean, 25% up year on year, that's a big viewership jump.
Yeah, massive. I reckon it's a three-way.
Yep.
It's a three-way. I think those first two are 100% correct. I think the games have been better to watch, way better. Yes, and the Crusaders are losing. So
and people love that.
People love that.
As Kevin Reid, ex-All Black captain, was saying to us, God, everyone's story is that we're losing. It's normally the story we're winning.
Yeah.
We're still losing. We're losing, and it's still the story.
That's right.
Everyone's loving that.
And, of course, the ACC coverage now on Sky Sport 9.
Yeah, right.
And on iHeartRadio. So the viewer numbers have never been bigger for us on that.
Yep.
So
it's the perfect storm that's bringing Super Rugby back. It is interesting because it was all doom and gloom around Super Rugby last year, wasn't it? And all it's taken is those things and the Crusaders losing, and now everyone's so buoyant. Everyone's skipping around. I'm wearing my Blues baseball jumper. And everyone's so excited.
And I keep saying this on this podcast. We're not getting paid to big up the Super Rugby.
Yeah.
I'm not getting a cent from the rugby union to talk about it, but I've just enjoyed it far more this year. And I suppose Crusaders losing is always fun as well because, like I was saying, a lot of people in this office and a lot of my friends have built their whole character around the Crusaders.
Yeah.
And now they don't know what to do and they don't know what to say.
So there's Mash and Mania.
Joe Jury.
There's so many of them they had this kind of spring in their step confidence when you're talking about rugby because they're Crusaders, like they had anything to do with it, like constructing an entire personality around the success of a football team that you've had nothing to do with.
Yeah.
Now it's gone. They're just a little bit quieter. They're just a bit easier to pick on. We can bully them around the office. We can make them feel bad. It's been a real boon.
It is, because I remember talking about rugby, and then they'd always finish the conversation with, well, the Crusaders are going to win anyway.
Yeah.
That's how they'd always finish the conversation. They'd be like,
they're actually still trying to do that. They're saying, like, I mean, even Kevin Reid.
Yeah. He said, we'll still make the playoffs.
Because it is actually pretty easy to get into the top 8.
Yeah.
Because you've only really got to beat Moana Pacifica and the Drua and
they can't do
the Western weakness.
That's true. They've got the weakness to come, haven't they? And the Rebels.
Yeah, but you mean like in terms of the table to be in the top 8.
Yeah.
So there's only
teams.
Only 4 teams don't make it.
Yeah.
So they're currently at the bottom, the Crusaders, but they just have to win a few to get up to, and then, boy, oh boy. As Mania Stewart said, is there a documentary team following them around? Because it would be a great documentary. You have to drop to the bottom, new coach, all your old players go. You're at the bottom of the table. You've got all this audio of people like us putting the boot in.
Yeah.
Going, like you have that montage.
I can see the montage.
The montage of fucking losers. And then they get into the top 8. And then they're in oh my God, you can see them creeping up.
Yes.
And then they're finally in a final with the Chiefs or the Blues.
Oh, God.
And then they win. And then our dicks will be so small if that happens.
I'm out. Yeah. I'm out. That happens, I am out. Like, I'm done.
I mean, it's not looking likely at this stage, but it is the Crusaders. So, and they have Dog Roll coming back,
Oh, yeah, got 0-5.
Yeah.
He'll come back from suspension at some stage, but they got the Chiefs this Friday.
Yeah.
So
the Chiefs Mana.
Chiefs Mana down at home down in Christchurch.
Yeah.
So also we've got a buttload of tickets to give away to that, and Joe Jury and myself will be there. We'll be there because we've got the ACC, last of the ACC Movember Golf Opens.
Hang on a minute. So the Grim Reaper is, G-Lane, the Grim Reaper is travelling down to break the Crusaders record? Because we're hoping for 6?
It's the least I can do. It's the least I can do for all my Cantab wounding mates. Is go down there and be the Grim Reaper for the Chiefs Mana. But we're there for the ACC Golf Open on the Friday. I think there's 2 spots left in the ACC Open down there. So it's what Jesus would have wanted. He was a scratch golfer.
He was.
So there's no better way to celebrate him getting crucified than going playing 9 holes and smashing heaps of beers.
Yeah, and then spending most of Saturday indoors. Not.
And then resurrect on Sunday.
Yeah, not really reappearing till Sunday, late Sunday.
It's what he would have wanted. It's better than these wounders carrying around crosses around town and wearing crowns of thorn and shit like that.
But to go back to blowing smoke up Super Rugby's ass, I'm so excited. And another thing is, I realised I'd got into this downward spiral where I don't know why I was turning on it so hard. Because you know how we can get into that spiral of everything's doom and gloom and we didn't win, your teams aren't winning and then you blame the whole sport and you shit on it. But the sport is such a great thing that you got to appreciate it and you got to lean into it and you've just got to.
Yeah.
As soon as you go, I care, then it's freaking awesome. And as soon as you don't, and then you just one loss, like if your team loses and you get so shitty you don't watch anymore, then you're taking some joy out of your life, right?
And
so this year I've just been watching every Blues game, every Highlanders game, and of course every Wars game. And there's so much for me to do. There's so much entertainment around.
Totally.
Just by not being a dick about it.
And I'll also go to the pub with a couple of mates and watch it. It's an excuse to get out.
It's the fucking greatest thing where you're going to take that away from you because you got the pip about a few rules.
And also people go, why do you care so much? It's like,
well, fuck off. What else am I supposed to care about?
I was about to say, dolphins?
Yeah. Give me a freaking break.
Let us care about something.
Yeah, let us have just one bloody thing.
And usually the people that say that are into arts and, and why do you care so much about that? You fucking loser.
Yeah. Yeah, fuck you. Fuck everyone but us.
Correct.
Fuck everyone.
Absolutely.
We like it. I want to sit around on my ass watching fucking sport. And I want to enjoy it. And I don't want to whinge about it anymore. So the Super Rugby is fucking great.
Yeah, so look out on the Sosh Meds this week because, I think we've got about 20-odd tickets to give away to our area. So one area will be Joe Jury and his Crusaders mates.
Oh, yeah.
And then all the Chiefs Mana people will be sitting with me in a small area. of about 20 or 30 of us.
Oh, yeah.
And then we'll see how that goes.
Is Mania down there as well?
No. He's too scared.
He's too scared.
He said he's given up on the Crusaders because he said, first of all, Chris Luxon got in behind them, and then Ricky Stewart got in behind them. His two most disliked people. Even though...
Actually, not. Does Mania not like the Luxon?
No, he doesn't like the fact that he left Canterbury when he was 7.
Oh, yeah.
And has lived in Auckland the rest of the time, and the Crusaders didn't even get formed until he was 23.
Right, I see what you're saying.
So he was saying he's just a bandwagoner.
Yeah, right.
A bandwagoner of hope.
Yeah. That's why I have to be honest and call myself a Blue Lander.
Yeah.
Because I've been in Auckland so long, and I live like 100 metres from Eden Park, so it'd be ridiculous for me not to support that team.
It did take you a while, though, didn't it, to
come
that?
out?
Yeah.
I had been going along to games secretly.
Yeah, you were a closet for a while.
It wasn't until I was out in full Blues regalia by some paparazzi that shot me in a corporate box.
Yeah,
sipping a champagne piece of
sushi?
It was damning. I had like a flute of champagne and a piece of sushi in the other hand in a full Blues outfit.
Yeah.
Then I had to come out. I'd been outed actually.
Do you know who was most disappointed about that? And that was the phone call you had to make before it came out in the public, and that was with Professor Heath.
I had to ring my dad.
Yeah.
There's some stuff coming out.
Was he okay about it?
Like, he was much better about that than when I came out as gay, I tell you.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we'll knock this one on the head, and we'll be back tomorrow with a Wednesday episode with another half-baked sports idea with Mania, but we'll catch you later.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast. For more episodes, subscribe on iHeartRadio or wherever you get your podcasts.